But first, with just 5 days to go until Election Day, President Biden, with that divisive speech last night, again calling Republicans a threat to democracy.
Yeah, joining us now is a man who knows how to win an election, former Pennsylvania Senator and Newsmax contributor, Rick Santorum. Sir, I want to talk to you about what's happening with some of these races, but I just want to get your reaction to last night's speech by the president.
It was a continuation of the Philadelphia speech. It's very dark, not, again, accusing people of being a threat to democracy, as you were saying earlier. I mean, this is a president, though, who is deeply unpopular. I mean, he's in the low 40s in approval ratings, high 50s in disapproval rating. So he doesn't really have the standing with the American public to really make an impact. So I don't understand why he's doing this. It doesn't make an impact. It's very divisive. If you think about it from the standpoint of the undecided voters out there that he may be trying to sway, they see this as politically divisive. Undecided voters at this point are usually moderate voters. They're not ideologically aligned. And so to give this sort of dark ideological and divisive speech is only going to, I think, push those moderate voters away even more. Just bad politics.
Yeah.
And it just shows you how much this is ingrained in his psyche now. That he would do something this desperate at the end of the campaign.
Senator, you know this stuff. You want to bring people into the tent 5 days from Election Day, but let's take a step back. So let's talk about you. You went to business school. You went to law school. You represented Pennsylvania in the state legislature. You became a United States Senator. You ran for president. You're a threat to democracy just because you happen to vote, you happen to be a Republican. So you're a threat to democracy. How offensive is that to half of America?
Yeah, you saw it with him. You saw it again with Hillary Clinton coming out of her hole and talking about this, deplorables again. This is a real problem. The Democratic Party has become the party of the West and East Coast liberal elite, and working people. One of the things I hear and talking to a lot of my friends who are knocking doors in Pennsylvania right now, running for the state legislature, is they feel that antipathy toward them. They feel that the Democratic Party not only doesn't understand them, doesn't talk about the issues they care about, but that they really dislike them. I mean, it's not Rick Santorum, right, but just the vast swath of America. That the Democratic Party has become the party of the 1%, the 1% right, liberal elite, and the 1% at the other end of the spectrum who are very poor, who rely upon the government and the largesse of the Democratic Party for their lives. But the vast middle of America is held in contempt by Democrats, and they're going to find out how unhappy they are in a few days.
That vast middle of America starts like a mile from the coastline, by the way. All right. Senator, just $1 million question real quick. How is Dr. Oz not leading in every single poll we see? We're 8 days removed from that debacle of a debate. How is that even possible that he's not in a 5-6 point lead right now?
Yeah, it's a couple of reasons. Number one is we have people, most voters in midterms are high propensity voters, and they're sort of on a team. They're on Team Red or Team Blue, and they're not going to change because their candidate is flawed. Particularly Team Blue, the Democrats, will stick by their person no matter how flawed they are because they are driven by ideology. So that's number one. A big win in Pennsylvania. I had my biggest win, and I had a fairly weak opponent, and I ran probably the best campaign I ever ran. I won by 4 or 5 points. So this is just a really tough state for a Republican to roll up any kind of big margin. Secondly, look, Dr. Oz is still unfavorable. His net favorable rating is unfavorable in Pennsylvania. He's in the high 30s, low 40s in favorability. He's in the high 50 in unfavorability because both in the primary and the general election, they just beat the living tar out of him for a variety of reasons, not being from the state, being a Turkish citizen. You go on down the list. So you have that sort of base vote, plus the fact that you have a candidate on the Republican side who's not particularly popular. Hard to get a big margin of victory in Pennsylvania.
All right, Senator, are we going to see you next week in-house here in New York?
I'll be hanging out with you guys.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
We'll have the
look
coffee
forward to
for
that.
you.
We'll see you soon. Senator Rick Santorum there joining us on Wake Up America.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the
truth.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They let
me decide.
Newsmax.
Real news
For real people.